Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Nursing Uncharted. My name is Maggie Reichard, pronouns she, her. I am a medical ICU nurse and your host for this podcast. Thank you so much for listening today and every week. It is such a joy to be the host of this podcast and put out the content that we do. If you like our platform, subscribe to our YouTube channel, leave a comment on Apple Podcasts, and just let me know what you think. I'd love to hear about how we're doing. If you love your job and want to tell others about your specialty, shoot us an email at nursinguncharted@amnhealthcare.com. Our aim with this podcast is to help nurses find their niche within nursing. And so if you feel like if you found that and you want to recruit others, hit me up. I'd love to talk to you. So guys, TravCon is so soon. It's September 16th to 20th. And I'm going to be there. AMN is going to be there. And it is the travel nursing conference. I think it's the only travel nursing conference. And I've heard so much about it. This is my first time going, but I've heard about it from so many people. It's a highly anticipated event because of how much fun it is. And it's a mix of, there's CEUs and really beneficial sessions, educational sessions that help you shape your career as a travel nurse or prospective traveler. But also tons of opportunities for meeting new friends, opportunities to relax and unwind. And, there's networking opportunities and parties. And it's definitely not an event to miss. So this episode is going to be tailored towards TravCon, what type of events and sessions are happening. But this would also be beneficial if you're going to any conference. It doesn't have to be TravCon. I wanted to just kind of give you a inside look at what to expect at conferences and how to optimize your experience at conferences. I've been to probably more than most. I've been to 5 conferences, and this will be my 6th. And I really value conferences. I love meeting new nurses. I feel energized after them. I feel motivated to be a better clinician. My passion is reignited. And it's a much more interesting way to learn things than just doing your normal CEU modules. Like you're listening to great speakers and in an engaging environment. So I feel like the information kind of sticks a little bit longer. And you just feel like a professional instead of a shift worker. So if you want to see nursing in a more professional light, if you want to view yourself as a clinician who's responsible for their own professional development, conferences are a great place to start there. So that's what we're talking about today. Let me know in the comments what conferences you're going to soon or which ones you're interested in. I'd love to hear. So today we're going to start off with the basics. How do you go to a conference? There are a couple different ways that you can go to conferences because they are expensive. They're like $700, and that's just the conference. That's not hotels or flights. They're a little bit less if you're a member at the organization that's putting it on. Like if you're a critical care nurse and you're a member of the American Association of Critical Care Nurses, it's a little bit less than the non-member rate by like maybe $100 or less. So you can outright pay for it, which I think a lot of people probably don't do just because it is so expensive. Or you can see if your unit is sending nurses to the specific conference, and you can ask your manager if you can be considered to be one of those people to go. It is in the best interest of your unit to have a budget for these conferences because the nurses who go to conferences are likely going to be bringing back ideas and information to better their hospital systems and their units. Generally, if your unit brings you to a conference, they're expecting you to go to the conference, listen to the different ways that nurses do things at other facilities, look at evidence-based projects and posters from other hospitals that are being displayed, and come back to the unit with new ideas and some things that you've learned. So you may have to do like a presentation or something when you get back. Because that's what a conference is about. They're this, melting pot of nurses practicing in different ways, and you learn how other people do things, and you get more of a universal view of nursing and nursing practice. Last year I went to NTI, and I was at a presentation that was talking about interoperability. My facility already uses interop, but some nurses were just wide-eyed at the amazing technology that is interop. And for those of you who don't know what interop is, it's a system that connects IV pumps to your electronic health record. So you can scan a medication and then you scan the pump and it links the two. So all of your intakes are accounted for. You don't have to, you just have to go into your flow sheets and validate or, save them to the flow sheet. So if you're doing, pressor titrations or insulin drip titrations, you can just change them on the pump as you need to, and then you can go back in and validate all of your changes in one foul swoop later. It's a really monumental technology advancement that trims a lot of nurse workload. So they're going to bring, after that presentation, they're going to bring that idea back to their hospital. So that's what conferences really are for. You get to see what other hospitals are doing. You get to see the, state-of-the-art technology. And we'll get into talking about the expo where a lot of that stuff takes place. Because some of the most exciting things about conferences are talking about, with vendors and just seeing what kind of technology is being invented. So anyway, I was talking about how to pay for the conference. So you can pay on your own if you have that traveler pay, if you have that money to blow, you can go. I've done that twice. I was on an assignment in Denver, and the AMN was in Denver. That's the American Association of Neuroscience Nurses. They were having a conference. I'm a CNRN, certified neuroscience nurse, and I had some extra traveler cash at the time, so I went. And I still use some of that information that I learned there. It was really beneficial for me to go. And I had friends that I used to work with in old neuro units that were going, that flew in. So that was, really fun. So you can pay on your own. You can see if your unit will pay for it. There's a third lesser known option. You can go and see if the conference has scholarships. Most of them do. I would just Google the conference, and then add scholarship to it and see what pops up. You'll be so surprised. Most people don't know about that option, and so nobody goes for those scholarships. So you actually have a pretty good chance of getting a scholarship. I got this tip from someone that I met at a conference. She applied to the NTI scholarship and she got it. And so then I told a friend about that option the next year, and my friend applied, and then my friend got it. So it doesn't take long to do, and worst case scenario that you don't get it. So you might as well just apply if you're interested in going to the conference. So those are 3 ways that I know of. You could maybe ask your agency if your agency would pay for you to go. I don't know if they would, since it's not like a requirement of a contract to go, but I mean, it certainly is a development in your career. And so it doesn't hurt to ask, and it would be pretty cool if they did. So, so that's enough about getting there. Let's talk about how conferences are set up. There's a couple different parts to a conference. There are the lectures, the educational sessions with speakers. There's a spot for posters and evidence-based practice projects that different units have done, and they've submitted them to be displayed. And then there's the expo. So now the lectures, they will be specific to the organization that you're having the conference for, and they will all apply to nursing. Some are there to be motivating and inspiring and engaging. I've been to a couple sessions about like the art of using humor in nursing, and those are always make you like feel good at the end. And some of them are strictly educational, like how to read EKGs better. So for TravCon, most will pertain to travel nurses. Some that I'm particularly interested in is there's one that's going to be about the legality of documentation, what is important for charting. Another one is being financially literate with Anthony Swain, who was on the podcast a few episodes ago. He's going to be on to talk about building your wealth as a traveler. There's another conversation about how to handle difficult assignments and when to say, hey, this is an unsafe assignment. what health insurance options look like for travelers. There's a session on strike nursing. So I'm super excited to sit in on some of these lectures and learn some new information. So that's the lecture part. You can also look at all of the evidence-based practice project posters. A lot of times the people who did the project will be at their poster talking about what they did, and they're there to offer, answers to questions, but they won't be there all the time. They want to go to the conference too. I saw a poster once about this one unit that implemented a code lavender to their unit, and it was a structured way of identifying stress among their coworkers. And then there was like a unified, structured way of taking their coworkers out of their assignment for a few minutes so that they could reset. And it was widely, everybody on the unit implemented it. It was widely received among their staff, and it really strengthened them as a unit. So just an example of one of the cool projects. So those are lectures and posters. And then there's the expo. So the expo is the vendor side of the conference, and it's normally this, big, massive open area where vendors are showcasing their new technologies, or a lot of times it's going to be agencies here for TravCon. At NTI, I remember seeing this state of the art. I put in quotations state of the art because it's kind of questionable. I don't know if all of these things are actually in, going to hospitals or not, but it was this female urine collection thing. And it was this soft silicone that sat over top of a urethra instead of PureWicks. And it was just this small thing. And I can't remember how it actually stayed. Ultimately, I don't know if people are using them. Because I was wondering if the silicone would cause a mucosal injury. Apparently it hadn't in product testing, but I just remember feeling that was just I don't know, that stuck out in my mind. Another thing that I saw was this imaging that you could do for NG tube placement. I think there was some marker at the tip of the NG tube, and you could see exactly in the body where it was going on screen, which was just so helpful. It would be so cool. Another thing that I saw were these seizure pads that you put on the bed that actually fit the bed and fit the side rails. There were compression vests there, which if you haven't seen compression vests, those are kind of cool. They, wrap around somebody that needs CPR and they just do the CPR for you. So it's consistent compressions and it's quality CPR because it has the perfect rate and depth and all of that. So just really cool technology, and it's just fun to walk around and look at that stuff. And there's always free stuff. So definitely go check out the expo. So there are so many things going on all at once. So how do you split up your day? It's really a choose your own adventure the whole time. There's things going on at tons and tons of different rooms at all points in the day. So one of the biggest challenges of going to a conference is planning out what you want to do, and then also planning for breaks, because they don't, they're just things you can go all day, without having a break. You're going to want to get the schedule, and you can look this up ahead of time if you want, but you'll be given a schedule, and it might be a booklet. It might be a, large book or pamphlet, or the conference itself might have an app. And they'll have a different schedule for every day that delineates what talks are going to be given on which days. And this can be overwhelming. A lot of times you'll want to go to talks that are at the same time, or, one talk you want to go to is at the other end of the convention center, and then the other talk you want to go to is right afterwards at the other end. So sometimes it's nice to have an idea of where you want to go beforehand. I like to plan out my day in the morning or the night before, and I like to circle what topics are of an interest to me, and just plan before the day starts, because it will go by so fast, and being a little organized will go a long way. So what do you wear to a conference? Business casual is generally the vibe, but wear things that are comfortable. if it's in the summer, bring a light jacket or something because they are always blasting AC in the convention centers, and wear comfortable shoes. That is so important because you may be walking to the convention center from your hotel. You're going to be on your feet. You're going to be walking around the expo. You're going to be walking from room to room of the convention centers, and the convention centers are always massive. So you're going to be walking a ton and you're going to be in there all day. So wear comfortable shoes. My very first conference was an ENT conference in San Diego, and I wore new flats that I got from Target because they matched my outfit, and I was trying to be really cute. I had bought all of these new, businessy outfits because as nurses, we don't have business casual things. What the hell is business casual? I have nothing to wear. I'm normally in leggings or scrubs. That's the two in my closet. Those are the only two things. So I bought these flats right beforehand, and I had the worst blisters that were bothering me the whole time because the first day we walked from our hotel and it was a quarter mile or more. So wear comfortable shoes and dress comfortably. You're going to be in those clothes all day, and then you might want to do a happy hour or something afterwards. So for TravCon, I'm probably going to wear a stretchy jumpsuit or something with a light jacket one day, maybe some palazzo pants, or try to dress up some jeans with a blazer, nice sneakers. Just look nice. Just, nobody's going to call you out on your outfit. Your manager's not going to be there. You're just talking to other nurses. Just be comfortable and look nice. You will be so much happier. Okay, next topic. So how do you get CEU credits? So you get CEUs when you go to conferences, which is cool. It's a fun fact. You actually knock out a ton of CEUs that you need to renew your certifications if you have one by going to conferences. But each conference does this differently. I've seen it done where you get CEUs by rating posters on the conference app, maybe. Some places you sign in with your email in the beginning of the lecture, and then they send you an email afterwards. With TravCon, it sounds like you scan your badge when you come into each lecture, which honestly I think seems like the best method I've seen because it ends up being kind of a hassle to claim your CEUs after the fact. You already did the work and attended the session, but now you have to remember to go back into your email and do something afterwards. Or just badging in, it seems like there's no work attached to that. So there is always a deadline to claim your CEUs, so don't sleep on it. Just go and claim them when you're thinking about it because you don't want to miss out on all of that work that you did. Can you go alone to a conference? Yes, you can. Most travelers travel by themselves, and I think TravCon is aware of that, which is why there are so many opportunities to meet people while you're there. But the same goes for conferences in general. I know at NTI and ENA, Emergency Nurses Association, there's a Facebook group dedicated to solar travelers that has grown in popularity over the years. At NTI, I met Raul Vera. He's an ER nurse who we actually had on the podcast and founder of the solo travel group for NTI and I believe ENA. And that group is so much fun, and it's such a needed space for conference goers. So he's done a really wonderful thing by creating that group. So if you, you just have to go on Facebook or something, or, maybe the conference website and search for those groups, but you absolutely can go on your own. I feel like that's a lot of what to expect at conferences. TravCon does a good job at being a mix of educational and fun. This year seems like there's a lot of focus on self-care and resiliency, and you can see that through their events. There's a lot of, I think there's yoga each morning. There's a golf tournament before everything gets started, I think on Saturday. There's a TravCon hike. They have a big after party at, I think, Tuesday night. And it's in Las Vegas, of course. So there's plenty of things to do after 5 p.m. if you'd rather, do whatever you want around Las Vegas instead. So that's all I have. I hope that this was informative. I hope you get the most out of your conference experience. So go out and meet new nurses, learn new things. Hopefully you feel rejuvenated and energized when you go back to your units. And let me know what conferences you're going to in the future. So happy conferencing, guys, and I'll talk to you soon. That brings brings us to the end of the show. Thanks for tuning in to Nursing Uncharted. To learn more about today's episode, make sure to explore the show notes at americanmobile.com/nursinguncharted. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a guest. If you're a nurse interested in traveling, visit americanmobile.com to explore the largest database of travel nursing jobs in the industry and the amazing benefits that American Mobile has to offer. Also, a special thanks to producer Jonathan Carey, assistant producers Katie Schraubman and Sam McKay, and Aiden Dykes for the music and editing. Until next time, take care of yourself.